to our town hall meeting. This is Emmanuel Christian School, and I just want to welcome our guests tonight. First of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. and Ms. Eastless, who are our parents, and they've been instrumental in helping us write the COVID preparedness plan. Ms. Lori Cooper, who's our daycare director, Ms. Linda Johnson, who's our principal, Mr. Bobby Ruby, who's our athletic director and head of our COVID team, and then Ms. Michelle Campos, who is our assistant principal for both elementary and secondary this year. And I'm John Davis, head of school, and so thank you for joining us. So we just wanted to spend some time tonight kind of clarifying the COVID plan, what our plan is to reintegrate back into school, and what our plan is for online learning. So if you'll remember last March, right before spring break, is when COVID really began to hit us. And so over spring break, I remember talking to Ms. Campos and Ms. Johnson in particular, and at that point, we just figured out, well, what are we going to do? And God had already blessed us with computers and Google Classroom and things that we were able to do to meet the needs of our parents at that time. Of course, there were a lot of challenges that came with that. And I remember talking to parents, and two big challenges that were mentioned. One was FaceTime, so lack of time compared to 7 hours a day in the classroom. And the second big challenge is that our teachers were limited to their computers. And so whatever they could see on the screen or whatever the kids could see, the teachers had their computer in front of them, and that's really as far as they could move. And so over these past 2 or 3 months, we've done a survey, we've listened to you, we've heard you, we've searched for the most effective, practical, and efficient online learning platform that we could find. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight. And so we've found ways to address the concerns that you've expressed to us. So the program or the platform is called High Five, and you can find it at highfive.com, highfive.com. And so I want you to just kind of picture in your mind the teacher in the classroom. And she's moving around the classroom. She's working on the whiteboard. She's sharing her screen with the class. She's having a discussion with the class, and she's working with students. And then I want you to imagine students at home. And these students are listening to their teacher. They're participating in discussion. They're completing their work with their classmates, all while the teacher is watching the students. And so this is what High Five allows us to do. And so this online learning platform, High Five, allows our students to be at home while participating in every classroom activity that happens in the classroom during the school day. So it's just like students at home are with the teacher at school every day. And that's what High Five does for us. So whether it's the first 4 weeks at school where everybody will be doing online learning because of the health mandate, or whether you choose in class or online learning, we have an option for you. And so High Five is that option. So teachers are able to move around the classroom. They're able to share their screen. They're able to put things up on the whiteboard. They're able to move around and engage with the students. All the while, students at home are able to see all this and are able to interact with the teacher and are able to interact with their peers. And so that's what High Five does for us. And students, of course, students at home can see the students in the classroom and the teacher, and then the students in the classroom can also interact with their peers. So it's just like you're in the classroom as a student, and you're following your class all day long. So that's what High Five does for us. It's a state-of-the-art, all-inclusive platform. And the reason we chose High Five is because God expects us to be excellent in what we do.
Amen.
And we desire to be excellent in all that we do. And High Five is the best tool platform that we were able to find to be able to do that. So you can go to High Five, HIGHFIVE.com, and research it. And we'll be sharing more information over the next week or two. So before we move on tonight, I just want to share our attendance policy because it's changed a little bit this year. So as you know, or you may not know, the first 4 weeks of school until Labor Day are going to be online for everybody. And so the plan is to start High Five the week of August 10th. Now, it may take us that week to get it set up and to get things the way that we are, but by August 17th, we'll have things set for High Five. And so that's the plan for us at this point. And then you can either choose to be in class, and we'll talk about that integration process in just a few moments, or you can choose to be online, once again, with your classmates all day long at school. So what a blessing this is. To be considered absent or present, students must be on screen. We must be able to see them on screen. And with High Five, there is no reason not to be on screen, because High Five not only allows you to access the program or the platform on your computer, it also allows you to access it on your phone, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's an Android. So even if you're on your way to school, you're running late, you're in class, and you're not driving, your parents are driving, then you can access that at home and be in school while you're on your way to school if you're running late. So what a blessing that is for us. So at this time, I want to turn it over to Ms. Michelle Campos to talk about Meet the Teacher.
Good evening, parents. Just to make note, we are also doing this on KVIV, and their phone number to call in, I believe, is 915-772-8400. So if you have a question you'd like to ask, other than using Facebook Live to ask it, you can, and then we'll be able to answer that live. My portion, if you were reading the agenda, has to do with Meet the Teacher. And of course, that is important at all levels, but we still have to stick to all the mandates that the city requires, and the best way to do it to keep everyone safe. So if you look at your agenda, and I'm hoping that you have seen it, we have 2 different weeks that we have to do it in order to get all of our students taken care of. And it's not just Meet the Teacher, it's also picking up supplies and the books that they need to start the first 4 weeks. So the secondary parents are going to be given a specific day depending on the grade level. So you have August 3rd for 7th grade, you have August 4th for 8th grade, and August 5th for 9th and 10th grade, and August 6th for 11th and 12th grades. So your student, we are in the process now of determining, for example, and I'll use my kid as an example. He's a senior, so I know the classes he has to take, and we'll make a packet for that particular student. Same for your child in 7th through 12th grade. So they'll have a name, you'll come in that day to pick it up, you'll grab his bag, and then that evening we'll have a Google Meet, or hopefully if we've got our equipment through High Five set up, we'll do it through that. And you'll be able to meet every teacher your child's going to have. So for 7th grade, that includes all their core subjects along with their elective teacher, and they will be there virtually as well in their independent space or at home. And that way you can ask questions of the teacher, and you'll get to see a face to who's teaching math, who's teaching Bible, who's teaching English, and that will give you more of a interaction, but at the same time keeping each of the teachers and the students safe. And we will also give the Chromebooks to the 9th through 12th grade. Now, if your child still has their Chromebook, shame on you. But no, kidding aside, we we will give those, and we have a list of who still has them, but those of you that turned it in, you'll get reissued a new Chromebook, and then you'll be able to have that when you come back eventually to the classroom. Now, elementary is done a little bit different as well. They're the following week. Now, we actually start class August 10th, but they don't meet the teacher and get their supplies until they do it within that time. Now, it says in person, but parents, it's not required. They also will have a virtual meeting in the evening of the day that they're assigned. So if you've chosen to have your child online the whole year, then you still can meet the teacher without having to come. You will have to pick up the supplies at one point, but we have such small amount of students that are being seen in that day so that we could keep as much social distancing as possible. So if you notice, the first one is August 10th, which is that Monday, and that's K4, and that's 6th grade. So if you're not familiar with our school, you know that those two classrooms are completely in separate areas of the building. So that will help as well. And then, of course, August 11th is K5 or kinder and 5th grade. August 12th is 1st and 4th grade. And then last is August 13th, 2nd and 3rd grade. All right, now that doesn't mean that they're not learning because they don't have their supplies. Teachers are planning to still be teaching during that time. That time, even though they don't have their supplies. But they also will have their virtual meetings for each of those days so that you can meet your teacher also. Now, you're not required to attend the virtual if you've been met in person, but you are more than welcome to do both. But we definitely need you to be at one or the other so that we can meet you as well, because your teachers are just as excited about meeting their students. We're all anxious to be together, and we're looking forward to utilizing this high five technology to get us better acquainted in regards to that. And I think that I've covered everything. Now, one of the things is, I don't know if we have any questions yet. I don't see any. Do you, Bobby? So we're good. All right. And I think who's next on here? Ms. Johnson, you're next.
Well, good evening, everyone. Glad to see you. Don't really see you, but I'm waving at you. Many of you have been with us for a lot of years, so you kind of have known how it works, our registration process. I have visited with many of our new families and told them that it's quite different now. We always look forward to, it's typically this week, where we bring the families in on Thursday and Friday personally to the building, and they're able to register. Well, that changed due to all this, but our wonderful Miss Vanessa Quinones has been a huge blessing, and she was able to work with RenWeb, and all of the registration forms are online this year. I do believe there's multiple families that have already taken part in all of that, which is a blessing. In fact, Ms. Campos, I think, did it, and she said it was a breeze. It was quite easy. So we will be doing that. The forms will be available until July 27th, and once again, they are all online for the final registration. Parents, one of the things that Ms. Q put down was, parents, you need to save each form after you fill it out, or do it on the offline. Make sure that you save it so that the data is saved into RenWeb. And then there's incidental charges like the yearbook, a free dress, things like that, and you will be billed according to the list at the registration time. So sadly, we won't see you, which is very sad for me, but hopefully we will all be together soon. And I know that each one of us will want to hug each other, but we'll have to high five or smile. And so anyway, we are definitely looking forward to having all of you register. Thank you.
Ms. Johnson, you mind if I answer just a couple of questions that are coming through as we're speaking? We will talk a little bit more about the High Five learning platform, but one of the parents asked if students still need their own computer. Yes, they do, from kinder through 8th grade. Chromebooks, we only have enough Chromebooks to give our 9th through 12th grade students, and those will be issued like a book to them. but everyone else will have to provide their own technology in order to interact with the teacher. Who's next?
Any other
Bobby?
questions? No?
Yeah, there's a lot, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, we know there's some other questions that are coming in through the Facebook live feed, and we'll get to those. But I'm just going to touch base on a few things here. On section number 4, returning to campus, we've got it set up a little differently for you all this next year, in hopes that we can keep the halls from getting congested with our students, and breaking them up by different areas of the building. And so what we're going to be doing is from August the 10th through September the 5th. Of course, those are going to be online classes. Your children will be doing their homework and their schoolwork through the online platform that we have set up right now. And then when they return to school on September 8th, we've staggered it a little bit so that the kids can come in waves, and so that the students aren't overcrowding the hallways. And so if you take a look at that, if you were able to print the email off, we're looking at September the 8th and September the 9th. K4, first grade, third grade, and fifth grade will start their school days on September the 8th. On September 8th and September 9th. On September 10th, those 4 grades, K4, first, third, and fifth, will return, along with K5, second, fourth, and sixth. That's September 10th and 11th. So September 8th through September 11th, we will have 8 grades in the building. On September 14th, we open it up to 7th and 8th grade, and that will also be on September the 15th. On September 16th, it will be open up to 9th through 12th grade. So we're going to stagger the days in returning back to school. It's not going to go to the 50-50 platform that we had initially talked about. We felt that this was going to set it up a little bit better in the sense that we're able to separate the kids throughout the day in different sections of the building, so we're not overcrowding to begin with in returning on September 8th. But not only are we going to stagger the days in returning, we're also going to stagger the times in departure and leaving the school and dismissal. And so the way we have that set up, the drop-off times for the start of the school day. So the way we have that set up is K4 through third grade, we are looking at a start time of 7:45. And then from 4th through 6th grade, we're having a start time of 8:05. And then from 7th through 12th grade, a start time of 8:25. And this will allow for the traffic to be limited as we drop kids off, and it doesn't congest the parking lots or the main arteries, so Hawkins and Viscount won't be congested with our family. So this breaks it up just a little bit during that time. And we are asking that with families with multiple children, that you drop off your kids with the youngest in the morning. And in pickup, in after-school pickup, what we're looking at is we're breaking that up a little bit as well, so that we're not having a larger number of students in the hallways after school. We're looking at K4 and K5, pickup time at 2:30, first and second grade at 2:45, third and fourth grade at 3 o'clock, fifth and sixth grade at 3:15, seventh and eighth grade at 3:30, and ninth through 12th grade at 3:45. And with that, we're looking at families will pay, if they have multiple children enrolled in the school, they'll pick up those children with the oldest child, so the latest time. And the same goes for drop-off time in the morning. So if you have multiple children in different grades, then we're asking that you drop them off with the earliest child, and that we will have a classroom set up for the older child to be dropped off, and the same at the end of the day. We'll have a place where your elementary child can hang with a teacher, until your oldest child is ready to be picked up. And so I know that that's a lot of information, a lot of dates, and a lot of times. But if you haven't looked at the email that was sent to you all by Mrs. Campos today, please take a look at that. Some other things we want to touch base on and just remind you of is during this time, talk to your kids if they are going to be in the classroom when we return back to school. Talk to your kids about hygiene and washing their hands and wearing a mask. We know that it's a little uncomfortable. It's not as easy to breathe with the mask, but they protect us, and we want to make sure that our kids are used to that when they return back to the school. And so please be sure that you talk to your kids about that and prepare them now. Get them used to wearing a mask, even if it's a couple hours a day, because they will be required to wear those at school, in the hallways and in the classroom. And so proper hygiene, washing of hands quite often, using hand sanitizer, and those practices at home will definitely help when the kids return to school on September the 8th. And so if you all have any questions pertaining to any, of the different sections or categories that we talked about today, just please give us a call. Once again, we're at 772-8400, and that is KVIV. And we would love for you all to call in and, share your questions with us if you'd like to do it that way. If not, through Facebook Live. You can send those questions through Facebook Live. We all have our phones ready, and we're available to answer questions if you have them.
One of the parents made, she posed a great question. She said, what if I have to be at work earlier than the time I have to drop off my child? And we understand that those are special cases, and we're willing to work with those. Mr. Ruby mentioned that your child, for example, and I'm going to use this family because this is how we worked it. Tyler is in third grade. So he's going to start school at 7:45, and his oldest child doesn't have to go till later. Well, technically, because Tyler's got to be there early, then all the family comes at 7:45. So that would be the same thing if you needed to get to work as well. So you would have to just let us know. You drop your child off at the drop-off place. We do the thermometer, the temperature check and all of that. And then we have a classroom that he'll be able to sit and maybe like a study hall, still practicing the social distancing, having a clean room until he has to walk to the classroom that he belongs to. And we're going to be very sticklers when it comes to the direction of the hallway so that we're all facing one direction when we're going through. And that's why the staggered times that Mr. Ruby has come up with is going to be so crucial for us to be able to train our students as they're coming. It is much easier for us to do little groups at a time as opposed to doing large and us missing one of those trainings, because these are so many different things that they're going to have to learn on top of the academic learning, and we don't want to get any of those things wrong.
Okay, yes, we have a caller on. What's your question?
Yes, good afternoon, good evening. I'm just trying to find out regarding, it was mentioned about a hybrid. Does that mean it's going to be implemented when students are able to go back to class? And if so, what does that consist of?
Want me to take that one?
Yes, go ahead. Ms.
Okay.
Campos.
I know that right now it's all distant learning from August 10th to September 8th, Lord willing. Then after that, you'll have the option to either have your child online or in-house. Now, when you're saying hybrid, you're thinking that you'd like for them to be at the school a couple of days and then online other days. I think that's correct, right?
That's what I wanted clarification on when I heard hybrid. Correct, I guess.
Yeah, and when we meant hybrid, it's you would have to choose one or the other. Now, that doesn't mean you'd have to stay in that choice the whole year. You may decide, you know what, I really just want my child online till December, and then after December, things are better, and then you decide, can they go back into the classroom? Of course. Or it may be the other way around. But it is difficult for a teacher, and I'm speaking from a teacher's perspective, to be able to not know, is he going to be here today, or I'm going to see him on the computer? I mean, it's doable, But usually those are the students that have underlying issues, that they want to be in the building, but there are certain things that they can't be for a certain amount of time. So our preference is definitely to be able to have one or the other, just so that the accountability is easier for us. But of course, this is new. I mean, all of this, type of teaching is new. So we don't want to say absolutely not. I think if you have a particular idea and you have something that you want us to help you in regards to teaching your child, then please come and call. You can call me, you can email me, or you can call Mr. Davis, and we can talk that through to see what's in the best interest of both the school and the student. I hope that answered your question.
It does. Again, so just to clarify, so as of right now, we're saying that it's probably not even a hybrid. It's more of a choice of in person to person, attendance with a student, or online, a sort of platform online.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay. For the whole year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, for the
Excellent.
whole
You know
year.
what,
If you want your child to be online all year, that is an option for us.
understood. Okay. Very good. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll communicate with you tomorrow. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Perfect, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great one. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I think we answered a question for Sarah on live. She was asking if High Five was going to be an option for our students all year, and I think we just answered that, right? So yes, it is. Okay, any other questions? Any other phone calls?
We have a question that came in on Facebook Live. How will lunch be handled? That is something that, of course, we're still working through right now. We're in the process of purchasing plastic dividers for the lunchroom tables, and so we'll be able to divide the tables up. So instead of having a total of 6 kids per table or 8 kids per table, we cut that in half so that it's limited to a number of students divided by a clear plexiglass window between each other chair in the lunchroom. A clear plastic, yes.
Notice that Google Classroom, one of the questions in Google Classroom will be used in the classroom, so High Five does not. It doesn't have
No.
anything to-
High Five is the technology that we use to implement the Google Classroom. Google Classroom is where your student interacts through emails, submits their homework, does all of that's the classroom portion. High Five is just the technology that we're going to use.
We did have a question that did come through, and it looks like Mrs. Cooper answered that. Miss Lori took care of that. When does 3rd grade return? And that is September the 8th. So that is when 3rd grade will be returning.
Yeah, I just want to make mention, and this is coming from a teacher's heart. Parents, I know that when we were thrown into, because literally that's what happened, thrown into distant learning last term, it was abrupt. And so there was not any one of us, and not just in our school, but nationwide, were prepared. I mean, many of us believed we'd be back in 2 weeks. And so I know we were rusty, or not even rusty, because some of us, okay, I'm going to raise my hand. I'll just take it. I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? And so it was not the best. I didn't feel like I could have done my very best in that venue because it's not my forte. I'm a very personable person, you see. And so that's how I teach. And so to be able to be locked in that little box was difficult. But Mr. Davis has made this commitment by providing this technology, and I think it's going to allow us to be those teachers that we were when we were in-house, until we can have those students back in our classroom, and then we'll still be the teacher that your child needs if you've chosen to keep your child online. So that is our hope, and we'll be able to continually provide the best teaching that I know that we can. You said we had a phone call, honey? All right. Go ahead, caller. I've always wanted to say that. I- Hello? I can barely hear you. Can you speak up? Can you hear Bobby?
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Yes. Yes, I'm ready.
Did you have a question, caller?
So,
Caller, you're
hello?
online.
Oh, I think they hung up.
Hello?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now
Yes,
I
ma'am.
can. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me or?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, well, maybe they'll call back. Shucks. I was so looking forward to that. All right. Miss Islas.
Just real quick, I wanted to let you know that the integration plan that was sent out was very aligned with the information that's given to us by the CDC. And of course, we tried very hard to make sure that the plan gives questions to, as a parent, had questions in regards to how to reintegrate children back into the school. And so, on my perspective, I wanted to make sure that my kids are safe coming back in and making sure that there is proper infection control and that we keep not only our children safe, but also our teachers safe as well. And so, if you have any questions in regards to the integration plan, I'm here to answer those as well. I will be compiling and I'm working on a couple of videos that will go out to you as well. Specifically, just talking about hand washing, proper infection control, how to properly cough, things that will help us kind of focus in and hone in on what we should be instructing our children before coming to school. Things that you as a parent can look for before deciding to put the child in the car and bring them to school, and just educating ourselves so that we're well aware of what the signs and symptoms are, what should we be concerned about. If the child is going to be absent because they are having signs and symptoms, how to call in and making sure that we're identifying any possible exposure to COVID. And so just as a parent, it's really important for me, especially because our children both attend the school. And we wanted to make sure, because we do want them to continue to have some sort of face-to-face instruction. And that was important for us as they integrate back, that they have a plan in place so that they can properly come back. And so I'm here in case you have any questions in regards to the plan that was sent out.
Okay, we do have another question on Facebook Live for the students that live in Juarez that are unable to cross the bridge. Yes, we will have options for those students. They will be able to do the online program that we set up through the school, and we'll make sure that they get all of the supplies needed, whether it be online or in person somehow. We'll make sure that those students are ready and prepared for this next year as well. We do have students that are driving. They will be staggered in and staggered out along with the rest of the students. If they are driving, they will have to come in at the time that is specified for those students. So if it is a 12th grader, they are to come in at that 12th grade time slot, and they will depart at that time unless they don't have a last period. Then they're able to leave during that time. But if they have a last period, they will have to leave with the seniors or the high school students being dismissed at that time.
One of the parents asked if the children will be online all day for the 5 days of the week, and it's going to depend on the age of the child. Of course, our high schoolers are probably going to be and have more online time because their classes are distributed over different teachers, but that is not going to be necessarily be the case with the younger ones. but we still do want as much FaceTime as we feel that what we want them to feel like is that they're still in school and being able to interact with their classmates and their teacher. And so it may be a gradual increase for our little ones, but not so much with our older students. Well, it's not that they're going to be online 8 to 3:30, but there are certain classes that are done through High Five, which are the core classes, and then there's certain classes that'll be done through Google Meet, which is their electives. But all of that's going to be given to them with their schedule, and that's when we're able to have those Google Meet or those Google meetings with smaller groups. Those are the particular questions that we can answer pertaining to the age group instead of making a large answer for the whole group, because each group is going to be different.
And we do have a question that came in asking about the cleaning of the secondary classrooms between classes. We will have the teachers or students at that level clean the tables prior to dismissal so that they are clean, and the chairs will be clean prior to the next group of students coming in. And so we will make sure that every class is supplied with proper equipment and supplies in order to have the room clean and sanitary for the next group coming in.
Yeah, and I think, Missy says, didn't you say that one of the requirements was that they have to wash their hands they sanitize on the way out and they wash their hands before they come in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have sports been canceled, Bobby?
As of right now, we have canceled everything for the month of August. As we follow, what the city government has to say. And so they basically have stated that athletics for the month of August has been canceled. Any practices, games, competitions, those have been canceled. We will have to revisit at the end of August to see if that is something that we're going to offer in September based on the local and state government as well and what they have to say. We know that athletics is a very important part of a student's education and time at school, and it's a great time for fellowship and all, but we want to make sure that our students are safe and taken care of as well. And, just give us that opportunity to evaluate things at, towards the end of August. We will touch base with our local government and state government and see what they have to say, and then we can go from there for the month of September.
I think we also had a question about face shields, and so we did address that in the reintegration plan. It's actually a really good idea as an extra protective measure. It doesn't forego them wearing a mask, because right now at this point, masks are becoming very, very important to us to make sure that we mitigate infection. Shields are a great protection for students' eyes, and honestly, I've had my children practice with the shields. And we've come to find that even when they eat, they can wear the shield without having to wear the mask and still be protected. And so the shields are definitely a good idea. It is an extra protective measure that you can use on top of using that face mask. It's definitely, especially if you want, remember your eyes are also a mucous membrane. If you want to make sure that they have full protection, it is a good idea for them to also wear a shield.
Some of the kids are asking, like, okay, so how's my schedule? Okay, for one thing, your schedules are pretty set. We've done 9th through 12th grade. We're working on middle school, and elementary will be solidified. And what that means is we know what classes you're in, but RenWeb has to be populated. So there's nothing that you can see until we put the students into the classes. And so you're saying, well, does that mean that I'm in class from 8 to 3:45? Well, for the most part, secondary has to work that way because, for example, I have particular students that I have from 8:25 to 9, whatever the next class is. And so you'll need to be with me during that time. And that way every other teacher knows that student is there. So will your online schedule look a lot like in-house schedule? Yes, for the most part. And you'll be able to eat lunch, and do all those things but we have to stick to that schedule as close as we can so that we're not overlapping and not taking students from other classes so that there's no conflicts.
We did have a question pertaining to PE schedule, and how is that going to work if your child if you chose the online route for your child. So your child's still you're gonna get credit for that class, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna work with those PE coaches to maybe set something up for you as parents or for the students to do something at home, just as Coach Rod did this last year with his PE kids and sending out what he's asking for kids to do each week. So your child will still have regular assignments given to them via email or through communication with the PE coaches, so that you can make sure that your child is completing those PE assignments at home as well.
We had a question pertaining to the schedule for third grade, and those are being fine-tuned. We're hoping to have those probably as early as Monday of next week.
I will have a Monday. Yes, Monday the 27th. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The grade schedules. I have been working on the class schedules, and typically those are posted at registration. We will input those in RenWeb. And so I have it sketched, but then we have a child drop, and then we gain one, and then we drop one. And so it's been challenging, but we'll have those by Monday. So.
Yeah, and I think she was also asking, Linda, I think she's wanting to know, like, when her child in third grade will need to be online to be able to know when to work with, and then those should be also.
Right, that is teacher related as well. So, Ms. Portis, that's teacher related, and so they'll be, once the classes are the students are distributed to the teachers, they will be getting in touch with you and giving you their. They'll talk to you at Meet the Teacher and discuss that with you, and then come up with a plan. But that is being rolled out. So, thank you.
Someone asked if the ICS polo and jeans are still required online. No, your child can actually come to class in pajamas if they choose to.
Yeah.
They don't even have to brush their hair, but we do need to see their face.
Right.
So that is not required until we actually come on campus. But you can tell your child, if they're not listening and watching, that it is required if that's something that you would like to do.
And the other question that I did already answer the email, but that is being gracious this year, and that's from our heart. We really want to help with that. Somebody asked about haircuts. Honestly and truly, when your kids at home, I could care whether they look like Tarzan or have ponytails or whatever. That's up to you all. But at school, honestly and truly, I think that being clean cut is the way to go. That's not with the facial hair or anything like that. So if your child is choosing to come to school, I mean, I will discuss this administration, but I'm pretty rigid. I like the kids to look nice, but it's at home. Truthfully, folks, it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, we got another phone call. Bobby, you take this one. Because the other one, I jinxed it and they hung up.
All right, we have another call.
Hi guys, this is Krista Stubbs. I just wanted to praise you guys for all the hard work that you put into this and for next year, and I trust that all the best decisions are being made for our kids throughout it all, and love you guys so much. But as far as school supplies, should we worry about any of that right now, or just take care of what we have?
No, well, Krista, there's some stuff that you probably will need to have, because we'll start taking notes. Some of the teachers will be having notes, and they'll be lecturing because of the format that we'll be able to use. So they'll need their spirals or their requirements, their things with them. But all of that you'll start getting informed as to what they actually need to have in the next week or so. And okay. I would wait just, for example, I require composition book for my students. but I don't need for you to have that until you're in the classroom. So
Right.
we're doing that separate. So I would wait to hear from your teacher, and it's just a matter of I'm getting it. I feel like we need to give each
Right.
other
Absolutely.
that grace to be able to, okay, let's
Absolutely.
get this started, and do it. So I would wait till your teacher contacts you to know exactly what you'll need for the distant learning. And if there's something they have from their part for their student, it'll be in your packet when you pick your supplies up for your child for their books.
Okay.
But thank you for your kind words.
Yes.
I have a big smile on my face. You just can't see it.
Of course, I know. I see you guys all smiling underneath this mask. We really appreciate you guys.
Well, thanks for the call, Krista.
Okay, bye-bye.
I don't know. I kind of like this, Mr. David. Other calls? Come on, people. Somebody. Any other questions online?
No, we're going through those questions. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 915-772-8400. Will there still be after school care? Yes. Yes, we're going to bring Miss Lori to the microphone here to be able to answer that question for after school and before school
Yeah,
daycare.
so after-school care forms are also included with your final registration. That's online. So if you're going to need that when we return to school, hopefully on September 8th, then please fill out that after-school form. Let me know if it's a sibling waiting for another student to get out of school, or if you need it for the whole day or whatever level of time that you would need. Also hourly, which is $3.75 per hour, or extended care, which covers $125, and it covers the whole month for extended care, after school care. So please fill out those forms with online registration so that I know how to staff for after school care in the upcoming year.
We had another parent ask. Oh, we have a phone call. We have a phone call.
All right. Yes, caller, go ahead. Caller, you're on.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. You have a question?
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Yes. This is Mrs. Guerrero. I have a question. When is the last day to choose between online and in-person classes?
Oh, today? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's not. We would prefer that once your child's grade starts, that you've made a decision by that day, so that we know in what roster, and your teacher can be prepared for in what capacity they'll be teaching your child. So, for example, if he's in high school, then we would like to know by September 16th.
Okay, perfect. Enough time because we are waiting for the clearance of the structure. So I was concerned if I have to decide it right now.
Oh, no,
Well,
ma'am.
Thank you
No,
very
ma'am.
much.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not till we're back on site.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
for everything you're doing. God bless you all.
Thank you. And
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, someone's asking about the teachers and the positions that we need. We have our science teacher for 8th grade, and we have our history teacher, and we're still just missing. We have potential applicants for our math teacher. That will be filled by the end of this week. So we're set to go.
We do have another question here. Both parents are essential workers, and they're asking if there's any assistance during 8-10, August the 10th through September the 10th. Please go ahead and call Miss Lori at 915-778-6160,
Extension 102.
extension 102. And if you need that, just go ahead and contact Miss Lori with questions about that.
So did you see the question from Mr. Aguila? Online students can still come during their free time to borrow books in the library?
No, we won't be able
No.
to use the library for a while.
No.
Yeah.
The library will not be available until further notice.
Yes, there is a question that came through in changes on tuition, increase or decrease. No, the tuition will remain the same because they are offering basically full classroom lessons by the teacher, along with the technology that the school is working on getting. So that won't change. The teachers will be providing full services online, just as the students would get in the classroom. And you know, if it's technology, you know, Chromebooks that need to be used or handed out, students will still be able to use those from the school. And so, no, there will not be a change to tuition for an increase or decrease in that.
Right. There was a parent that asked, so my child gets dropped off. How do they get to the classroom? We will have a teacher that escorts that student to the classroom that they need to be in, so that we can maintain social distance between the students. And that's probably going to be from 6th grade down. And then we will have different teachers at different positions, making sure that the 7th through 12th grade are going in the right direction in the hallway and going to the first period class that they're assigned to. Because we have staggered entrance times, that's really going to help the traffic quite a bit. You're not going to have the bigger kids in the hallways when the little ones are coming in. So that's part of why Mr. Ruby and the COVID team made those decisions. So I hope, Ms. Collins, I answered that question for you. Are we done?
If you have any more questions, give us a call, 915-772-8400, and we will be able to answer your question. You can call in or you can send it in through Facebook Live.
Somebody's asking about the senior class trip. Forget it or plan for it.
This year we're going to the Bahamas. Oh, no, wait, that's me. No, I mean, I can't even tell you for certain. Of course, that's that is something we want to do, but it's all going to pertain to how this continues. It's hard to plan knowing that it's so uncertain in regards to travel, and we don't want to make the expense. We are just now getting the last refund, waiting for the last check from Universal for the senior trip of last year. And we would hate to have that happen again. So I cannot tell you right now, right, Mr. Davis, if we're going to have a senior trip for certain, but yes, it's something that we would want to do.
Okay, we do have another phone call that came in. Caller, your question?
Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Good evening.
So my question is, I have two questions actually, if you don't mind.
Okay.
My first question is for recess, and once the kids are back in the school, how are you going to control the social distancing? And my second question is, are parents allowed in the building, or are we just dropping the kids off? We stay outside. So just let me know.
Right. You want to take that one?
The drop off for the students, parents will not be allowed in the building at all during this time. So we will have one designated drop off location and pickup location for kids. And so parents will drop their students off there, and we will have faculty and staff that will make sure that your child makes it from the drop off location to the classroom with very limited interaction with other students. So that is, will definitely be taken care of. And then the social distancing in the classroom, during recess time, those are things that we'll talk to the teachers about and how they're going to monitor that. The kids definitely need time outside of the classroom, but we'll definitely work through that. We'll give you detailed information on that once we work and meet with the teachers before the school year begins.
Yeah. Well, Ms. Islas, is there a requirement as of right now from the CDC for recess and what the kids can? Is that even going to be able? Are we able to do that at all?
There is no recommendation or requirement as of now. However, they do talk about the importance of for infection or infection mitigation to have the children do go outside, practicing social distancing as much as possible, just so that they are able to get fresh air and the flow and that kind of stuff. But there is no specific requirements. There are a couple of institutions not in the United States that have gone back to school that are doing social distancing while they're out doing, stuff outside.
And are they wearing their masks?
Yes.
Okay.
They're still doing masks while outside. They're still doing social distancing while they're, they are participating along one another, but they're not intermingling, which is what's important at this point. And I think they also asked a question in regards to increasing cases.
Did that answer your question, caller?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, and I am grateful. And God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you.
I think there's also an additional question about the increasing cases in El Paso, Texas with COVID-19. So I do want to address this real quick. So we're going to be seeing an increase of cases because there's going to be large, massive testing right now. They are pushing for most people to get tested, and now they have free testing in certain sites. And they're doing this mainly so that we know what the population, how much of the population has been exposed to COVID-19 or is COVID-19 positive. And so definitely you're going to see a spike and an increase in that. What we're really watching are those who are in the hospital, the mortality rates. We're looking at also the ages that are coming up. And so if you have any questions in regard to that, you can always go to the El Paso Strong. They have the latest up-to-date information when it comes to the statistics here in El Paso, Texas. Now, having said that, infection is infection. It's gonna, we live with it on a daily basis. We have flu seasons, we have colds that come around. And so even though COVID-19, the mortality rate is higher that we're looking at, and it definitely is something that we have to take very seriously. It's also important for us, and that's why we came up with the integration plan. If there is a possibility of someone having COVID within our institution, we have a plan set in place. So yes, there is a possibility that if numbers continue to rise, a high increase, then yes, maybe we do have to start talking about these children being online for a certain extended period of time before we can reintegrate them back into the school. And so if you read that integration plan, it's very specific to let us know exactly what the school, if that would happen internally within the school.
Thanks, Patty.
We do have a question that this has been covered already, but we've had a couple of questions come through, probably late followers. With the cases increasing in El Paso, with the chance of classes going online? Well, yes, there definitely is that chance. And as Mr. Davis said earlier, we are looking at the High Five online program, which will allow you to decide if you want your child to learn from home. In the classroom setting, it's basically set up online so your child can follow along with their peers in the classroom, or they can be face-to-face. So that is something that we are offering.
We had a question about kindergarten. Our pre-K and kindergarten is going to be, their platform not going to be High Five. It is not right now. It is going to be Google Meets with Google Classroom. So they are working on that. They're definitely talking about a plan of a daily interaction. That's something they're going to discuss with you, and the ways that they're going to meet and the things that they're going to be doing. So that is up and coming. They already are aware of it. Now, that doesn't discount that if we had a lot of kindergartners that wanted to be online, that we wouldn't address that. So the teachers will be trained that way, but pre-K and kinder right now will be through Google Meet and Google Classroom.
There was also another question about how much time online will a child spend during the school day. So the whole goal of High Five is this: to allow students to be a part of what happens in the classroom each and every day. So during our 4-week time for elementary, especially, secondary will pretty much follow the schedule. But for elementary, You're going to take out break time. You're going to take out recess. You're going to take out lunch. You're going to take out your electives. So that will be a shortened time frame for elementary. Once school starts back and students come on campus, at that point, the elementary students will follow their teacher throughout the day. So if the teacher's in class, the student will be engaged in class with his or her peers and the teacher throughout the day. So that's how it'll work. That's the great thing about High Five is the students can follow the teacher all day long when they're in the classroom.
So we had a question about COVID-19 vaccination. There's still a lot of research that's being done on a COVID-19 vaccination. Honestly, the testing that's being done, we're looking at 2 years out to possibly have something solid that tells us whether the vaccine would be effective or not. So mandating for a vaccination at this point is not something that possibly we can discuss until we have further information on what our health officials are letting us know in regards to whether that vaccination would be a proper use for the entire population. So at this point, that's something that we can not really address because there's really no solid vaccination at this point.
Did you say we had a caller, honey? Okay, caller, hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My question is, do we still need a security presence? And if so, how is that going to be configured and also cost to parents?
You're asking about the security officer, the police officer that we have on duty on campus, correct?
That is correct. That before COVID-19, I think we have that in place.
Yes,
Are we
sir.
still going to continue with that?
Yes, sir. We are going to continue with that. Yes, sir. We want to provide a safe environment for our students,
that's right.
and that is something that we will maintain this next school year. Hello?
Hello.
Did we answer your question, sir?
Yes, and I said that asked if so, how is that going to be configured? Since we have a hybrid type of system.
How is it going to be configured? Is that something
Yes, correct. My the other part of the question is how is that security going to become configured, and also how much are parents going to pay?
That is something that is already configured into the school budget, and if you have detailed questions about that, you are more than welcome to contact Mr. Davis at jdavis@emmanuelwarriors.org. But that is something that's already configured into the budget this year. And so, you, like I said, you're more than welcome to contact him directly at jdavis@emmanuelwarriors.org or at 915-778-6160.
Yeah, I think because part of the reason was the last time we implemented our police officer, we had a fundraising, right, sir? But that was because the budget is planned so far in advance for the following year that wasn't in there. Yeah, but it is now, and it's a non-negotiable for Mr. Davis. We will have our security guard. Any other questions, Bobby?
Did we answer your question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling, sir. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. For negotiating over there.
So we do have a new lunch program this year that's going to be run by Emmanuel Baptist Church. That would only apply to those students who are on campus, if you would like that program available.
Okay. And if you have questions about how that will work, please be sure that you call Emmanuel Church, and you can speak to Mr. Rico there to get additional information about the way the lunch program is going to work.
Any others, sir?
Yeah, we have a question. Will the nurse be available for students that do not do need meds? I'm sorry here. Or in case of allergies, Miss Marty will still be on campus, and she will still administer the medications that the students need to take throughout the day on a daily basis. So Miss Marty will still be on campus. That's not changing any.
I mean, for the most part, the school, when the students return, is going to look very similar to what it was when we left, with the exception of the movement of the student. We've maintained the elementary to stay in their classroom. The electives are coming to them if they're in 5th and 6th grade. We're not switching classrooms in 4th through 6th. The hallway has one direction. It's one-way streets on all the hallways so that the students are facing forward. They're going to be sitting forward. So all of those are the types of things that are going to be different, and they will learn. But we still, I mean, they still wash their hands. There's, they'll have the face mask. We'll all have that. So that the other, the guard and the nurse and all, that's still all provided. Those things are still essential and necessary.
Yes. So the last question that came in is in regards to disinfecting supplies. Absolutely. So Clorox wipes, hand sanitizers, soap bottles, Lysol spray. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go to any shopping center, they're going to tell you can only buy one at a time. So you're going to have to be making several trips. Yes, and yes. So it is going to be very important. Also, just an FYI, your child should come with a personal hand sanitizer with them. It's very important. It kind of allows us to mitigate that possibility for infection if they're sharing certain objects. So if they have their own personal hand sanitizer, they use it only. They have it within their reach. So yes, absolutely, is something that we definitely want to push for. The other thing that I kind of wanted to, I have addressed this a little bit with some of our parents, but we wanted to help prepare our teachers as they come back to the school. So we're talking about maybe making them some kits as the parents as they come back in, things that will protect our teachers as well, such as face shields, sanitizer, extra Clorox wipes. So if you would like to join us as a parent and you'd like to make donations so we can get those kits out to our teachers, that would be awesome as well. You can contact myself. It's patty_islas@yahoo.com. Or you can contact Ms. Baca, who is also assisting in that area. And really, honestly, preparing our teachers is going to be one of the prime things. They are the ones that are most at risk at this point, and they're the ones that are going to come back before our students. So anything that we can provide for them is definitely something that we should foresee as well.
Patty, they're asking about the types of masks. Can you give some information in regards to that?
Okay, so your child does not have to wear an N95 mask. Most of the masks that you see us wearing right now, it has the N95 logo right on the side. That is not a requirement. The mask needs to cover the nose and the mouth. That's what's important. If you're looking at things like more breathable material like a bandana or some type of cloth that is slightly more breathable as long as it can cover the nose and the mouth is what's important. Now, have them practice, which is something that has already been mentioned. It's really important for them to build tolerance so that they know it's important for them to keep their nose and their mouth underneath the mask. And so, honestly, don't look for anything really outrageous. Don't go spending tons of money on a mask that has float filters. You're looking for something that will be the most comfortable for the child, and I can definitely provide some additional information on cloth in regards to that. The other thing that I just noticed this question here, and I know Krista said it. So yes, it is finding Lysol and finding Clorox wipes has become very, very difficult. It's true. I agree with you on that. So I did talk to one of the managers over at one of the Walmarts, and to my understanding, if we can come as a school and let them know that we need to make a bigger purchase just so because our schools are integrating back, then they may allow us to purchase something in bulk so that we can have our teachers prepared for that. So I do have the name of someone that I'm hoping to contact and see if we can make a bigger purchase, especially because we talked a little bit with some parents in regards to making those kits for our teachers. So yeah, that's definitely something that we have to overcome. And we also, if our parents, anybody who's out there who, I know that one of our parents has a pharmacy and she may have better access than other parents. So anyone who can send us hints on where we can get certain disinfectants and the material to get our children ready for school, that would be great. Just send that my way.
Let me close tonight by answering two final questions. One is that we mentioned at the very beginning that we are offering online learning. So the first 4 weeks of school, all students will do online learning. It's not like it was last year. This is with the teacher in the classroom, interacting, engaging throughout the day. As the teacher teaches, students will interact with the teacher for the 4 weeks. And then after that point, if you choose online, then you will follow your class all day long throughout the day. And so you'll be able to see the teacher from home and your peers, as they will be able to see you and engage and interact with you. So we're using a system called High5, HIGHFIVE.com if you want to look it up, or you can call for more information. The second question that I want to finish with tonight is, we are a Christian school, will there still be chapel? And so that is our foundation as a school. That's what drives everything that we do, so that we can honor Christ in everything that we do. That's what makes Emmanuel Christian School unique. And so we will still find ways to not only integrate God's Word in everything that we do, but we'll find ways to have spiritual activities on campus. Whether we do chapel online or maybe in small groups, we're still talking through those issues, the best way to do that. But we will definitely have chapels to make sure that our kids are getting fed spiritually that way, in addition to everything else that happens at school. That's what drives everything that we do.
Amen.
So we're going to
Whole lot of thoughts to process and things to think through. But Lord, I know first and foremost that you are a God of order, and I am so grateful for that, because these decisions, Lord, are first and foremost for your glory. And so, Lord, I pray that you continue to lead Mr. Davis in regards to these decisions. And Lord, we're so grateful for all the blood that you give us through actions of our parents, words of encouragement, and just things like the CARES Act, where they provide supplies that we didn't think we would have access to. So, Lord, I know that you are already before laying the path that you have for us. I just ask, Lord, that you continue to make us good stewards of not just the things that you're giving us, but more importantly, of the students that you're bringing. I know, Lord, that each parent has made a sacrifice and a choice to be able to bring their student so that they can hear your word on a daily basis. And so, Lord, help us to be good stewards of those children. Help us to be wise with the decisions that you lay before us. And Lord, we ask these things because you died for us. And we are so grateful, Lord, that your blood was shed to cover those sins that we commit. But Lord, we are so grateful for the grace that you provide. I thank you and I praise you, Lord, and I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you.
Bye, folks. Love you. Miss you. Miss you.